have a wonderful day on Father's Day. And to all of you celebrating
My
out
father's
there.
gone. My father is gone, but I want to encourage folks to be doing I'm doing an awesome message this Sunday. If you can't make it down to the Hope Center, you tune in live. We're going to be live on Facebook. It's called What the Man Want to Say, but don't know how to say it.
Wow, happy Father's Day. Keishan says certainly to her father as well, Kingsley
I
Fowler.
love to wish my fathers a happy Father's Day.
Again, everybody and the gentlemen around this table, all
Happy
of former
Father's Day,
fathers.
everybody.
Happy Father's
to them
Day,
as well.
everybody.
Listen, have a great weekend. God bless. The news at 6 is straight ahead.
Active coming up, Sinead.
Back when I was
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up first at 6, millions generated. The gaming minister outlining how much funds the domestic gaming industry makes. Communication bill, soon law. The Senate passing a crucial bill on communication. And computer enhancement, a local organization giving back to students across the country. The Bahamas Tonight, first at 6, starts right now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC every day.
The minister responsible for gaming weighing in on the government's intention to tax the domestic gaming industry. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Munnings. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, first at 6. The Honorable Denicio de Aguilar feels that since being regularized, the gaming industry has made millions, and the government's goal of taxation will only hurt these businesses in the short term, he says. He noted that when the gaming industry was regularized, domestic gaming industry taxes were increased from 1% of the adjusted gross revenues to 11% of net gaming revenue. He said then there was widespread consolidation of the market where the number of gaming houses decreased from 12 to 7 and the number of locations fell from 635 to 363. The gaming minister said now the domestic gaming houses have been generating millions.
Bahamians took over $500 million of hard cold cash down to the number hounders and gambled that money. And they say we can't afford a 4.5% increase in VAT. It's all about choices, Mr. Speaker, choices. Mr. Speaker, $500 million is a huge amount of money. Of that 500 plus million the Bahamians spent on gaming, the 7 gaming houses ended up keeping 200 million of that. And this 200 million represents an enormous growth in sales since the gaming industry was legalized. In 2015, their first year of legal operation, the sales of these 7 gaming houses grew a whopping $42 million in 1 year, from $112 million in 2014 to $154 million in 2015. In 2016, their sales grew another $21 million to $175 million. In 2017, their sales grew another $20 million to $195 million. And in 2018, their sales are projected to grow another $20 million to $215 million.
Well, still on News from Parliament, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Darren Henfield, in his budget contribution, discussed plans to improve the delivery of passport services to Bahamians living in the Family Islands. The plans include the introduction of mobile kiosks for passport enrollment.
The Passport Office will establish mobile kiosks for the enrollment of passports in a number of our more populated Family Islands, namely North Andros, Eleuthera, Exuma, and Long Island. There may have to be some more consideration, Mr. Speaker, for these, because I think we need to look at establishing kiosks in some of these districts have more than one island administrator. This would obviate the need for individuals to fly into Nassau. As an island boy, this is very important to me, for enrollment and return for the collection of a passport. The total estimated cost for the establishment of these kiosks within the Office of Island Administrators is around $80,000.
In his contribution to the 2018-2019 budget communication, Minister of Local Government and Transport, the Honorable Frankie Campbell, apologized for the inconveniences at the General Post Office and announced that the government plans to implode the East Hill Street building once the office relocates. Minister Campbell also announced that the post office is a step closer to moving into its multi-million-dollar facility on Gladstone Road that's at the site of the old Phil's Food Service building. Now, the new postal facility will feature automated counter services, expanded express mail services, as well as expanded postal parcel services.
The good news for the public and the postal staff is that the General Post Office is now in possession of the keys to its new premises situated on Gladstone Road, formerly the site of Phil's Grocery Store, following the recent compulsory acquisition of that property by the government. Already, efforts are underway to transform the building into a modernized, expanded postal facility to the tune of in excess of $4 million.
Opposition Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Davis gave a critical view of the budget during his contribution to the debate communication. Ms. Davis says the budget is taking the country in the wrong direction and includes too many contradictions and inconsistencies. Mr. Davis explained that he cannot support the budget and believes the government's reasons for increasing value-added tax are unjustifiable. And the 12% increase, he says, can have an impact on the tourism industry.
The increased VAT will result in increased hotel operational costs, driving up room rates and prices of food and beverages. They call this kind of scenario deja vu, because I recall this same scene being played between 2007 and 2012 when excise taxes were introduced. And what happened then? Well, here we go again. It is interesting to note that the minister is postponing the effective date of the 12% increase for the tourism sector for a short period, I think until September of this year.
Well, from the upper chamber, we move now to from the lower chamber, we move up to the upper chamber, as the legal sector will now be armed with a new piece of legislation to fight crime at another level. The Interception of Communications bill has made its way through the Senate and is on its way to becoming law. The bill has received the backing of both sides of the upper chamber. And as Betty Thompson tells us, it can have a wide impact on the crime war.
The Interception of Communications bill surfaced under the Progressive Liberal Party, but is now back as a key legal piece of legislation under the new government. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, the Honourable Carl Bethel, sought to point out the differences under both governments. The previous piece of legislation, he said, was too broad and could involve any situation.
It gave the police carte blanche, absolute freedom to spy on people based on the allegation of any crime, no matter how trivial the matter might have been. The fact that even infractions of the law which could only possibly have been dealt with by a magistrate, therefore by their nature being minor and sometimes trivial offenses, they could have been the subject of an application for an interception warrant because under the PLP bill, any offense is all that is needed. Any.
According to the Attorney General, this new piece of interception bill will deal with indictable offences which could range from acts of terrorism, proceeds of crime, murder, and also human trafficking.
What we've done is we've carved out what I call a bubble or zone of privacy. Only the most serious offenses that are indictable are going to be offenses in respect of which an interception warrant can be applied for. Not any offense.
The new piece of legislation, once dubbed as the Spy Bill, will also provide further protection for citizens.
No more will the police be able to go to a magistrate and get some warrant and go to the home of the then national chairman or anyone like him, Darren Cash, and say they have a search warrant that allowed them to confiscate his computer, home computer, iPad, him and his wife's cell phone, and for them to take them and subject those tools and equipments to some kind of search. Okay? A judge will stop it.
The Attorney General also made it clear that the Interception of Communications Bill is drafted to ensure that persons who use stolen information can also find themselves committing an offense. Betty Thompson-Moss, ZNS Network News.
Coming up here, more about plans for Munnings Drive following that traffic fatality yesterday. You're watching First at 6.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil.
Red cheese, gold rings, all black, everything creeping through the night.
Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
This is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. This is Commonwealth Bank. And no matter how, no matter where, no matter what, Commonwealth Bank is here for you. Commonwealth Bank. Everything we do it for you.
Every day at KFC, our cooks begin with the freshest pieces of chicken, hand breading and seasoning before cooking to golden perfection, making chicken that's hot, fresh, and ready for you to grab and head to your favorite spot for a meal with friends and family. The secret to preparing the world's juiciest, tastiest chicken, bundled with a variety of delicious sides, is real cooks who love what they do. Taste the KFC difference. Fresh prepared, in-store daily. KFC Nassau, it's finger-licking good.
What's better than a cheesy, hot, delicious one-topping Pizza Hut pizza? 2 cheesy, hot, delicious one-topping Pizza Hut pizzas. That's what! Now get 2 large one-topping pizzas for only $20 VAT included at Pizza Hut Saunders Beach or Prince Charles Drive. Call 603-3333 or visit pizzahutnassau.com. Pizza Hut, for the love of pizza.
This portion of the news brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking.
Welcome back. And now to news from the courts. Testimony continued in the Frank Smith bribery and extortion trial today. A public hospitals authority officer was back on the witness stand. We can tell you that past board members were appointed on the 1st of July 2014, and the current board was appointed on July 1st, 2017 to the 30th of June 2020. During cross-examination, Attorney Knight asked Leslie Isaacs if the board provides a resolution, and she responded, "Not all the time it happens." Attorney Knight told the court that a $1.8 million contract was granted to Magic Touch for cleaning services to the critical care block of the Princess Margaret Hospital, and that the contract was approved by the Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Dwayne Sands, without the board having any knowledge of it. It's expected that the Public Hospital Authority's legal advisor, Leslie Isaacs, a BTC engineer, and the Minister of Health, Dr. Sands, could take the stand when the trial resumes on September 3rd. Minister of Works, the Honorable Desmond Bannister, clarifying the government's plans to develop Munnings Drive following a deadly accident after a woman collided with concrete barriers placed across the road, preventing the flow of traffic onto Gladstone Road. Minister Bannister, who called Thursday morning's accident a tragedy, says work began yesterday to reinstall speed bumps to that road that have several times been taken up following that tragedy. But he says notice was given of the road closure after 3 associations and residents in attendance at meetings with Ministry of Works engineers voted unanimously to return the road to its original plan with a cul-de-sac. Minister Bannister says the ministry is going through the tender process for the setup of the cul-de-sac, but insists residents must be careful how they use the road. Some 50 participants, including divers from across the region, participated in an assessment exercise to test the Royal Bahamas Defense Force's capacity to respond to a security threat. During an exercise of the trade winds at Prince George Wharf, teams participated in a scenario to help the Port Department conduct a security sweep in and out of water to detect an explosive device. The Defense Force's Lieutenant Ricardo Barry says this exercise is normal.
Nationally, for the Bahamas, it assists us in how to better our security posture locally. regionally, it also has a major impact in that it allows us as a region to get to collaborate with each other, to identify regional threats and try and find the best method of mitigating those threats. We'll be looking at operating in 4 different domains. We're going to be looking at operating in the air, where we will be conducting air surveillance of the Bahamas, hoping to detect bad guys trying to enter our territory. We will be conducting maritime operations, which the Defense Force, we have a lot of experience in, but it will help us to prune our skills.
Defense Force Lieutenant Greg Richards, a diver with the Royal Canadian Navy, provided further details on the land and sea exercise as well as the preparation.
We have 4 dive teams set up in Coral Harbor. Based on the task, they will determine how many teams will deploy to execute the task. For this, they determined it was 2 teams. So we give the team leads as much intel as we possibly can. So, where they're going to go, what kind of suspicious 4 exercise vessels are coming in and out, anything they can to help them execute the dive and plan their dive. They'll deploy here. When they get here, they site the scene. We will discuss with them further intel that we know and allow them to come up with a plan, brief us on the plan, and make sure everything's safe and makes sense. And then after that, they enter the water and execute.
Early this week, Electro Telecom Limited donated laptops to students of 49 schools from here in New Providence, Apico, and Eleuthera. Each school selected a top student or a student who has made major improvements this academic year. The computers were presented to the students at the Police Conference Center with representatives of the Police Force, Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of National Security in attendance. Electro Telecom CEO Paul Smith says that this annual donation is important in helping this generation of students.
The day is revolving. Technology is just about everything. And without technology, it's like it's without a notebook. And so these computers, I think, would help these kids in order to meet the demands further ahead in their life. And so I feel like by continuing this donation with computers is really only bettering the children as they proceed further in school to their academic goals.
A few of the students receiving the computers say they hope to use them for future projects and for a little fun.
I might use it to do my work when I go in grade 7.
I'm not quite sure, but probably just to do projects on and maybe mess around with a little bit.
It felt great to get the laptop, and I'm probably going to use this for playing video games.
Congratulations to those students. Well, that's a check on news first at 6. Stay with us. Sports is up next with Jonathan Benson.
That portion of the news was brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, the leader in personal banking services.
No matter what your goals are in life, you have to start somewhere. It all begins with Leno. Leno, bridging possibilities. Call us at 396-3225 or email info@lenobahamas.com.
BTC is giving the gift of rollover data, plus free unlimited WhatsApp calls, texts, pictures, and videos. Choose from our 1-day plan for $349, 7-day plan for $999, or a 15-day plan for only $29.99. We've even thrown in unlimited BTC to BTC calls and texts. Dial *203# to activate your plan today. Share every moment with BTC. Terms and conditions apply.
We'll be with you through new beginnings and sunset endings, through toil and many tears, through the joys and many fears. For all of life's ever-changing moments, trust J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers for all of your insurance needs. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. The next 2 weekends will be busy for the B3As. First up will be their Junior National Track and Field Championships this weekend at the original Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. This will serve as a qualifier for the IAAF Junior World Championship scheduled for July 10th through the 15th in Finland. It's also a qualifier for the Youth Olympic Games scheduled for Buenos Aires, Argentina, September 11th through the 23rd. Now from there, the Senior Nationals also scheduled for next weekend at the same venue. A lot on the line there as well, with spots on the NACAC and CAC teams up for grabs. Right across the street, also this weekend, swimmers diving in the pool for the Bahamas Aquatics Federation Nationals. Action there runs until Sunday at the Betty Kelly Kenning National Aquatic Center. On to the pro basketball ranks now. Jerron Keno Burrows, 12 points last night, helping Province Basket to the French B-League title, a 76-70 win. They swept that series in 2 straight games. With the win, they've also been promoted to Group A. Meantime, in the WNBA, Jonquel Jones and the 7-2 Connecticut Sun, they are back in action tonight. They're on the road against the 7-3 Seattle Storm. From the minor league baseball diamond yesterday, Todd Isaacs and Lake County completing a 3-game sweep of fellow Bahamian Chavez Young and Lansing with a 4-3 win. Isaacs going 2 for 4, a run scored, while Young was 0 for 5. Elsewhere, Lucius Fox 3 for 5, a run scored, and so his 13th base of the season. Charlotte topped Dunedin, a final there of 6-4. The New Providence Softball Association was on the diamond last night at the Blue Hill Sporting Complex. In the ladies' opener, the Hennessy Panthers, they picked up an easy win, 21-6 over the Alive Strikers. For the Panthers, Ivana McDonald 4 for 4, 6 runs batted in and 4 runs scored, while Giselle McKenzie was 2 for 2 with 3 runs batted in. On to the men now. That was the feature game last night. The Commander Security Truckers still on a full tank of gas. They drove to their 3rd straight win, spinning the Chances Mighty Mets 18-11. For the Truckers, Angela Watson 4 for 4, 3 runs batted in, 3 runs scored. LaVon Ferguson 2 for 2, 3 runs batted in and 3 runs scored. Meantime, DeJuan Seymour was 3 for 3 with 2 runs batted and 2 runs scored. For Chances, Stephen McKenzie 2 for 2. 2 runs batted in and 2 runs scored. On the mound, it was Dwayne Dean picking up the win over Alfonso Chicken Aubrey. Team Bahamas had a small cheering section when they traveled to the Americas Group 3 tie in Costa Rica a few weeks back. Tim Dames was one of the fans in the stands, and he said the atmosphere was incredible, and this is how he summed it up.
All of the English-speaking teams was cheering for the Bahamas. That was awesome. Jamaica, Bermuda, the guy from Bermuda had a pot. He had a pot he was banging on? He was banging on. And that was such, after we, I gotta say, ravished them. No, seriously, they all came, Bermuda, Jamaica, who else, Marvin? Antigua, everybody came and they was cheering for the Bahamas. I thought that was awesome, because here it is again, this war that I spoke about. And those teams who we beat, they came on because I felt they recognized the awesomeness that this team displayed.
The Bahamas, of course, beat the host country and was promoted back to Group 2 for 2019. And that is your first look at sports. Don't go anywhere. First at 6 is back after the break.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Hey, I'm Megan Shepard, a reporter here at the ZNS Northern Service. Did you know that ZNS is right at your fingertips when you download the new ZNS app? Missed something in our newscast? That's okay. Simply pull up the app, swipe, and you'll find all of our news headlines and highlights. So what are you waiting for? Download the new ZNS app today.
Welcome, madam, to the Royal Blue Tavern. My name is Leslie, and I will be taking exceptional care of you. Service has been a part of my life for a very long time. I get a sense of satisfaction knowing that my guests came, experienced Bahamian cuisine, fine service, just the shared joy that they get from my service is enough satisfaction for me.
Did you bring the thing?
What thing?
Protection.
Come on, man. You really want to ruin the moment with that?
I actually think it will help the moment. No worries. Now we can continue. Next time, step your game up.
Adrian Gibson. Now the Bahamas residents can fly or cruise free to the family islands. What are your summer vacation plans?
I'm gonna go to Long Island, and you should come too.
And there's no better time than now with the 2 Fly or Cruise Free promotion, where all residents of the Bahamas can fly or cruise free to the family islands from Nassau. Let's go. Refresh, reconnect, and unwind in the family islands. For details, go to bahamasresidents.com and fly or cruise free to the family islands today.
Time now for weather.
In our first look at weather, that high pressure has collapsed, resulting in very light winds, but we still have some residual showers lurking around the northwest Bahamas, and we expect 1 or 2 more of those tonight and tomorrow morning before everything starts to lift out of here by tomorrow afternoon. Outside of our studios, cloudy skies, temperature 84 degrees, the relative humidity 78%, northerly winds at 2 miles per hour, your barometric pressure 1,017.7 millibars. That is 30.05 inches, and it is steady. That's going to do it for your first look at weather at 6. Stay tuned, more weather is still to come.
Thanks so much, Basil. That does it for First at 6. It's time now for a check on stories making news around the Northern Bahamas.
defending the value-added tax increase before an audience of business leaders. The maritime sector remains an attractive option for students. And urban renewal honoring fathers at a special luncheon.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Wolf-Arkeson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news this evening, the government has been facing much criticism since the announcement of an increase in value-added tax. Today, the Minister of Finance and the Deputy Prime Minister shared with the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce a detailed account of the country's finances and why the government was forced to make such a decision. There has been an outcry from Bahamians since the announcement of an increase in value-added tax during the 2018-2019 budget debate. During the Chamber of Commerce's monthly luncheon meeting, the Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister gave a detailed presentation on the factors that led to the government's decision to increase value-added tax. The Deputy Prime Minister says that the government simply did not have a choice. He says that the country is facing challenging times due to the state of the public finances, which could, over time, undermine the stability of the Bahamian economy. The DPM says the country's debt is around $7.2 billion, with a debt interest of $381 million a year.
Now, that $381 million represents more than our national security budget, our health budget, our educational budget, by over $100 million. Obviously, that is not sustainable. We are borrowing, and we have been borrowing, not just to meet the commitments of the government, but to pay for the financing of this huge debt that we've amassed.
Clearly, he says, the government had to make some very tough decisions, which included the 4.5% increase in VAT. He says while many have asked why not wait until the country's growth to pay down the debt, he says they simply could not.
But the problem with waiting is that the commitments of the government do not wait. We need to fund the government. And so I either have to go and borrow or I have to tax. Because the truth of the matter is, one of the rating agencies has us at junk status. The other one has us on review with a negative outlook, which means they can too bring us down to junk status. We're able to maintain our level of borrowing cost because we have one of them still at investment grade. If the two of them come to junk, we're going to have some serious challenges.
The DPM says the time has come to break the cycle of overspending and budget accordingly.
We said, okay, we got this funding gap. How do we make this up? The only thing left of us after we've done all of our revenue enhancements that we can think of is to look at the value-added tax. And we considered anything from 9% all the way to 12%. In fact, all the way to 15%, which the previous administration on the introduction of value-added tax had suggested. And we recognize that anything less than 12%, which we found to be the sweet spot, if you will, would cause us to have to increase the taxes on the Bahamian people, as well as engage in borrowing that will not help fix this growing financing cost problem.
Value-added tax is expected to bring about some $400 million in additional revenue for the government. The Deputy Prime Minister says if there was a better way to fix the country's financial crisis, they would have eagerly accepted. But as of now, they are keen on doing what must be done.
Because the reality is that in doing this, and you see the protest on Bay Street, we know that there is significant angst in the community, and it makes us as politicians very vulnerable. We recognize that. And so there's no way that we come to this decision easily. Some of my colleagues are first-timers. They haven't even gotten their feet wet yet. But they're going to face a challenge come 2022 as a result of what we're doing here today. But I give them credit because, like me, they recognize that this is more than just about being re-elected. This is about trying to secure the future of the country.
In other news, the Office of the Prime Minister and other partners preparing to host a major conference next week. The three-day conclave will focus on the development of blockchain and cryptocurrency in the Bahamas and around the world. And that will attract some 500 local, national, and international investors and entrepreneurs. Now, the conference is one of the first recommendations made to the government by the Grand Bahamas Tech Steering Committee, which was formed last December. It is all in an effort to turn Grand Bahama into an internationally recognized technology hub and the Silicon Valley of the region. You can register and find out more information by visiting the official website, blockchainbahamasconference.com. Now, that three-day conference opens Wednesday at the Grand Lucayan Resort. Switching gears now, another group of young people on Grand Bahama on their way to developing careers in the maritime industry as the Bahamas Maritime Cadet Corps continues its mandate of training young Bahamians. The latest group of cadets graduating during a special ceremony at Geneva's restaurant recently. Sabrina Brown reports.
25 young people receiving certificates of completion as they join many others who have graduated from the Bahamas Maritime Cadet Program on Grand Bahama over the past 9 years. Minister of State for Grand Bahama Kwesi Thompson challenging the young people to think big, as many Bahamians are achieving big things around the world.
We've been able to see people like the Golden Girls and the Golden Knights who, when it comes to track and field, they are the best in the world, without question. We've been able to see Bahamians become CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. Bahamians. We've been able to see Bahamians rise to where they are, or they have worked at NASA. Bahamians who have been able to go and work at NASA. We have Bahamians who are lead positions in companies like Google and companies like Microsoft. Bahamians.
The minister admonished them to work hard, not to be afraid to fail, and not to forget God.
There's going to come a time in your life when your mommy can't help you, your daddy can't help you, your friend can't help you, your instructor cannot help you, your boss cannot help you, your doctor cannot help you, but only God one will be able to help you. So have a relationship with God. Know how to pray, because there will come a time when the only thing you could do in certain situations is to pray.
Director Clayton Curtis says the local program is advancing as this latest group of cadets got the opportunity to take the Standards for Training and Certification for Watchkeepers course, a major accomplishment for Grand Bahama.
The cadets in this class who made that STCW course are the first cadets in the 15-year history of the program who are not New Providence resident to receive training in the STCW, another first for Grand Bahama.
Cadets Rhett Storr and Jeremy Russell share their experience in the program.
I've been with this program since grade 8, and I have learned so much since then. From learning how to tie knots to ship husbandry to rules of the road, rules of the road, and also navigation.
I learned how the maritime industry is important to trade and commerce of a country. Also, I learned why ships and their crew need to stay safe while at sea.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
In news from the crime beat, 4 men are in police custody tonight assisting with investigations into a stabbing incident that occurred in 8 Mile Walk. Police say around noon yesterday, officers were called to the Rigby Plaza in Pinedale, where a 23-year-old man was found with stab wounds to the upper body. The victim reported that he was attacked by a group of men while at a construction site in Pinedale. He was taken to hospital where he is listed in serious conditions. Investigations are continuing. Meantime, 2 Grand Bahamian men arraigned before the court Eric Culmer, aged 19 years, of Bas-Lane, was back before Magistrate Rankin Johnson for sentencing on illegal firearm and ammunition charges. Culmer pled guilty to the charges yesterday, and today he was sentenced to 3 years at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. Culmer was arrested on Tuesday by officers of the Rapid Response Unit after a search of his apartment on Bas-Lane uncovered a Black Point .380 pistol with a magazine containing 6 rounds of ammunition. And also from the court, Lyndon Ferguson, age 36 years, of Lewis Yard, was arraigned on possession of an illegal firearm and ammunition charges before Magistrate Gwendolyn Claude in 8 Mile Rock. Now, he pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 5 years at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. A Lewis Yard man was also arrested by police yesterday for possession of an unlicensed firearm, and police tell us that Ferguson was found in possession of that .45 pistol and magazine that contains 7 live rounds of ammunition on Tuesday of this week. Well, just one night left before the Grand Bahama Homecoming Association Tarrus Riley concert. Answer this question underneath the post on our Facebook page, and you can win a ticket to tomorrow night's concert featuring Mr. Singy Singy. Now, I hope you tuned into Power 104.5 today. Here is the question. What song did Tarrus Riley sing on Power 104.5? Now, you can answer this underneath our post, and the winner, as always, will be announced at the end of the newscast. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Dolly Madison, Freeport's original home center.
This Sunday, it's all about Dad. That's why the boss made special arrangements to import a vast selection of indoor and outdoor plants, fruit trees, landscaping plants, flowering plants, herbs, and more at the Plant Nursery at Dolly Madison. Make this Father's Day extra special with plants from the Plant Nursery. Happy Father's Day from the management and staff at Dolly Madison.
Come on down now.
Chimney, new government, give thanks. Sing it.
Yes, Freeport, that's Tarrus Riley, your singer. Do remember, June 16, have no fear. We will be there. Sing Tarrus Riley. Niceness increase. You don't know it, already. The rain start the first one. That Jah works a blessing. So watch out. The simple things, them are your blessings. So we're ready up this time. June 16, I can forward in. Well clean.
Are your blessing, and you don't notice your blessings. You pick it with the shoes by your feet. Now pick and choose the friends where you keep. You now watch where you eat. When last you get a good sleep. The simple things are your blessings. Simple things are your blessing, your blessing. Simple things are your blessing. You better notice your blessing.
A Social Affair invites you this Sunday, June 17th, to Father's Day brunch featuring the Cooling Waters. Call 602-6292 or 727-6292 for reservations or hotel pickup.
Did you ever know that you're my hero?
On behalf of me and my little sister Vonnie, we just want to wish our daddy a happy Father's Day.
The trophy says most outstanding father goes to Ellison Delver Sr. From your children, Ellison Jr. and Savannah Delver. We love you.
So, Papa, they can put you in the old folks' home?
Thank God for that.
Phenomenal. It is a phenomenal celebration of fatherhood from a father's life-changing story, a gospel icon to champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Phenomenal is serving up hearty portions of love for a father's mind, body, and soul.
Phenomenal with Joan Davis Rose.
Father's Day special is Friday at 8 p.m. on the ZNS Television Network.
Covering the Northern Bahamas, you're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Urban Renewal held a pre-Father's Day luncheon today at a Social Affair Convention Center. The theme, the impact of a good father. Our Kimberly Mulling says the fathers received a lot of encouraging words of wisdom.
The Urban Renewal Pre-Father's Day Luncheon included an interesting feature. Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable K. Peter Turnquest, took part in the health screening. Turnquest admonishing all fathers in attendance to recommit themselves to community building through mentorship. He says that it was up to them to guide the youth of the Bahamas to do better.
Some of you may be content with the way it was. Well, the only way we can get back to the way it was in a wholesome way is if you are willing to share with this next generation our traditions and our cultures and our values.
Pastor Eric Danny Clark, president of the Northern Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, encouraged the fathers to walk with Christ.
Once you put Christ first, you will realize that he provides for you in ways that will blow your own mind. Men, and to all those who will view and watch and who experience this program, I want to challenge you today that this country appreciates you and loves you, and we need to make it our business to have as many more men join us on the good path, the good road as possible.
Frederick McAlpine, Member of Parliament for Pine Ridge, also delivered remarks advising the men to focus on three important things.
Salvation. Don't leave this world without it. Secondly, what I want you to learn about education. Get more for your children than you got for yourself. See that your children and grandchildren go further than you went. I don't envy them if they do, while you're still alive to see it. And then lastly, I want to leave this thought with you. Identification.
5 fathers from throughout Grand Bahama were honored. Harold Adderley from Marcos City, father of 5, says being a father is important to him.
Being a father today, it isn't like when it used to be back in the day of my father. Times a lot harder, there's a lot more challenges. But within the challenges, we got to continue to work as to be the priest of the home, the husband to our wonderful wife, and the father to our children. And that is something I adore doing.
East Grand Bahama honoree Reverend George Cooper says all fathers should consider their roles a privilege.
This is something we should appreciate, all of us, all men, all fathers, and be blessed by it and bless others and ask God for us to continue to grow our children in the right way, particularly in this time in our country.
The other 3 fathers honored were Stephen Burrows of Pine Ridge, Terrence Whitfield Jones from 8 Mile Rock, and Frank Lewis from Lewis Yard. All fathers in attendance received gifts from Urban Renewal. Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
And finally, news this evening, bad weather forced the postponement of the annual Grand Bahama Homecoming weekend last month. The festivities will take place this weekend and will feature international reggae artist Tarrus Riley. Riley stopped by our ZNS studios today and says he's ready to perform. Kimberly Mullings has more in this report.
Because I was ready the first time, you know. But I'm ready again this time, and I have my raincoat. If it rains, me just out in the rain same way.
Tarrus Riley, a.k.a. Mr. Singy Singy, is no stranger to the Bahamas. Despite the postponement of the concert, Riley says it's always a pleasure to return.
Bahamas know how we do it already, you know. So them kind of expect some good times, you know what I mean? Sing some songs, sing and dance, and have a good time. I'm always excited to be anywhere in the Bahamas. So Freeport, everything's nice. Every time I get a microphone and a camera, yo, bless up. I say thanks very much. You know, we really give thanks for the constant, consistent support. Them always are support me. So once again, big up. And big up my family and my friends in the Bahamas. So can't say it go.
Riley says he's delighted to take part in the Grand Bahama Homecoming festivities.
Bahamas is like home, so it's like me homecoming also. So medicine at the homecoming spirit, you know what I mean? Definitely. But it's good, and we come to give you music and make you feel nice.
Chairman of the Grand Bahama Homecoming Committee, Clavon Duncombe, says the additional month was put to good use by organizers. He says Grand Bahama is in for a treat.
Definitely can expect a safe environment, good layout, good entertainment. We got Passport Gang, we got Mr. Tarrus Riley live in concert. We just want Grandmama to come out and support. This is a homecoming event. It's also a fundraiser for us to raise funds for our college fund. With some challenges, having to change the date because you have to basically advertise again, get new flyers, pay for new airline tickets and so on. But we came up to the challenge, and we happy that the time is finally here.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNAS Network News.
Kim, I envy you for that assignment today. Now it is time to ask the doctor.
Welcome to Ask the Doctor. Recently, I received a very simple question from Trevor, who asked, where can I get a complete physical in Grand Bahama? This is a great question, and it helps me to introduce the very important subject of men's health. First of all, Trevor, you can make an appointment with a doctor who practices family medicine anywhere in Grand Bahama. Alternatively, you can contact your community clinic and make an appointment for a complete physical examination with the family medicine doctor practicing there. I would like to commend you for being proactive about your health, which unfortunately is not something Bahamian men do very often. 70% of deaths in the Bahamas are considered preventable. That means if the person had made different lifestyle choices, they most likely would have not died. It is now recommended that men begin getting regular health checkups beginning at age 20. This may not seem like a big deal, but it is one of the basic building blocks of a healthy life, along with regular exercise and healthy eating habits. Your yearly exam should include cholesterol and blood sugar levels, a blood pressure check, weight and body mass index, as well as providing guidance on healthy lifestyle choices. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
And we have a winner already. I know this young lady very well. Stay tuned to see if that is you. Stay with us at Check on Sports when we come back.
More Makeup by Megan Copeland. When you want to look like a star. Phone 443-7979.
I'm Glendia Sweeting.
And I'm Alex Thompson.
Join us each week on Grand Bahama's Best Talk Show, Focus Forward, sponsored by the Invest Grand Bahama unit of the Grand Bahama Port Authority.
You'll get to hear from the port executives, find out about the positive projects going on throughout the island. You'll be on top of all the great community events, and of course, we'll have a featured local business each week.
It's going to happen right here on ZNS Television Network. If you want to stay on the pulse, you have to focus forward.
Make this Father's Day the best yet with gifts for Dad from Ace Hardware. Choose from their vast selection of Ace power and hand tools or automotive supplies, pet supplies. Ace Hardware's got the perfect fishing rods and supplies for the big one. Then head to Ace Outdoor Living Department for patio furniture and accessories. And more. This Friday and Saturday only at Dolly Madison's Ace Tools, Outdoor Living, Pet Supplies, and Automotive Supplies Father's Day sale.
Come on down. Now.
Be a part of the Down Home experience at Southfest on Saturday, July 7th from 3 p.m. until at St. Vincent de Paul School Grounds in Hunters.
Topping sports on this Friday evening, the sporting community coming together to assist one of their own. A fundraiser will be held in aid of sports legend Charles Softly Rubin's medical expenses, and that's tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Reach Out Ministries Community Center. Rubin says in spite of it all, he's hopeful and will continue to hold strong.
I'm about to stop now. You know, like I said, the other day I had a little scare, but because of the prayers of my friends and my family, thank God I'm here to continue to go on. I feel real good. I feel strong. And the young men that you grow up that are working, that could walk up to you and tell you, man, coach, how you doing? You know, I heard that something was wrong with you. Get it, touch your heart, you know, touch your heart. But such is life.
Now, Robin says he's extremely grateful for all the love and support he has received so far. And that's a quick check on sports.
More Makeup by Megan Coakley. When you want to look like a star. Phone 443-7979.
Chimney, new government, give thanks. Sing it.
Yes, Freeport, that's Taurus Riley here, singer. Do remember, June 16, have no fear. We will be there. Sing Taurus Riley. Niceness increase. You don't know it, already. The rain start the first one. That Jah works a blessing. So watch out. The simple things, them are your blessings. So we're ready up this time. June 16, rock and forward in. Well clean.
Are your blessing, and you don't notice your blessings. You pick it with the shoes by your feet. Now pick and choose the friends where you keep. You now watch where you eat. When last you get a good sleep. The simple things are your blessings. Simple things are your blessing, your blessing. Simple things are your blessing. You better notice your blessing.
Welcome to Jags International. We have Celebration, Valeria, FRS, Bahamas Air, Hotel, car vouchers now on sale.
Girls, I tried book my ticket online with them ferry them. So complicated, they asking for too much.
That's why I stick to Jags. No agency fees or booking fees. Cash and credit, all the same. Blow deals and spectacular services with a smile.
Yes, that's Jags. Your one-stop shop to Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, and Miami.
We even offer cheap car rental vouchers, Dollar, Thrifty, Hertz, and VIP service.
Book now with Jags and get their $5 discount card. And don't forget the super sales going on.
When you need a warm, filling meal, head to KFC for a hot, juicy, flaky chicken pot pie. Individual sized, freshly baked, chunky chicken pot pie loaded with tender pieces of delicious KFC chicken, green peas, hearty carrots, potatoes, and a thick and savory home-style sauce. Covered with a golden crust. Chicken pot pie. Available at all KFC restaurants in Freeport.
Stay informed on your local weather forecast this 2018 hurricane season. Your #1 news station, the ZNS Television Network. We've got you covered.
So tonight's trivia question was, which song did Taurus Riley sing while he was at our ZNS studios? The answer was Don't Come Back. And tonight's winner is Adama Williams. Adama, you can come by our ZNS studios to pick up your ticket. Well, that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, I'm Shashina Wolf-Farquharson, and tonight we leave you with this special Taurus Riley treat.
Yeah, this is Taurus Riley. ZNS, bless up yourself, Bahamas Massive. Looks like you need a love like ours, then you would know how it feels. Looks like you need a love like ours, yeah, you need some happiness for real. Looks like you need a love like ours, boy. ZNS family, looks like you need a love like ours. So don't hate on us, no, no, no. You need a love like our own, yeah. Love like ours. Bless. Looks like you need a love like ours, then you would know how it feels. Looks like you need a love like ours, yeah, you need some happiness for real. Looks like you need a love like ours, boy. ZNS family looks like you need a love like ours. So don't hate on us, no, no, no. You need a love like our own, yeah. Love like ours.
Welcome, madam, to the Royal Blue Tavern. My name is Leslie, and I will be taking exceptional care of you. Service has been a part of my life for a very long time. I get a sense of satisfaction knowing that my guests came, experienced Bahamian cuisine, fine service, just the shared joy that they get from my service is enough satisfaction for me.
Coming up in the National Report, millions made. The minister responsible for gaming weighing in on the proposed taxes for the domestic gaming industry. Communications bill passed. A critical piece of legislation focusing on communication passed in the upper chamber today. And security sweep, an in-depth exercise on security taking place at the Prince George Wharf today. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts right now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Every Day.
The gaming minister clarifying concerns on government's proposed gaming taxes. Good Friday evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Munnings. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for joining us. The minister responsible for gaming clarifying the government's intention to tax the domestic gaming industry. The Honorable Dionisio de Aguilar feels that since being regularized, the gaming industry has made millions. He indicated that profits will initially go down, but as the gaming house operators adjust their business model to accommodate the new tax, they will quickly bounce back.
Mr. Speaker, the Bahamas has been good to the domestic gaming house operators, and legalization has been good to them as well. And this government feels that now is the time to reassess, after all this incredible growth, whether the government is making its fair share from this industry.
When the gaming industry was regularized several years ago, Minister Dionisio de Aguilar said in his budget contribution Thursday that their tax was increased from 1% of adjusted gross revenues to 11% of net gaming revenue. He said then there was widespread consolidation of the market, where the number of gaming houses decreased from 12 to 7, and the number of locations fell from 635 to 363.
In 2015, their first year of legal operation, the sales of these 7 gaming houses grew a whopping $42 million in 1 year, from $112 million in 2014 to $154 million in 2015. In 2016, their sales grew another $21 million to $175 million. In 2017, their sales grew another $20 million to $195 million. And in 2018, their sales are projected to grow another $20 million to $215 million. The sales of the domestic gaming business, after they paid out all the winnings they have for the people, have grown from $112 million in 2014 to $215 million projected for this year, almost double.
The gaming minister then revealed that since regularization, the domestic gaming industry has generated millions.
Bahamians took over $500 million of hard cold cash down to the number handlers and gambled that money. And they say we can't afford a 4.5% increase in VAT. It's all about choices, Mr. Speaker, choices. Mr. Speaker, $500 million is a huge amount of money. Of that $500+ million the Bahamians spent on gaming, the 7 gaming houses ended up keeping $200 million of that. And this $200 million represents an enormous growth in sales since the gaming industry was legalized.
Minister de Aguilar believes that only gaming house operators themselves and those that support them would see anything wrong with government deciding to now reassess what the government earns off this business and what the operators keep. He confirmed that the government earns 11% of all gaming revenues and that gaming house operators get to keep the remaining 89%.
Is it fair that on the $215 million that the domestic gaming business is projected to earn in 2018, the government gets $24 million and the domestic gaming operators get to keep $191 million? When a deep dive is done into the projected sales of the gaming houses, just over half of their sales will fall into Tier 1 and will be taxed at 20%. And what is most revealing, Mr. Speaker, 6 of the 7 gaming houses would fall into that category. 10% of the sales would fall into Tier 2, another 10 in Tier 3, 10 in Tier 4, 10 in Tier 5, and only 5% of the total sales of the gaming industry will fall into Tier 6, and be taxed at 50%.
Well, the gaming minister also responded to recent comments which indicated his decision to reduce duties on washers and dryers to benefit his business.
I would like to address a mean and vicious rumor floating out in social media land that since my election to this place, I have somehow engineered a reduction in duty on washers and dryers to help my superwash business. Mr. Speaker, that is fake news. In fact, it was the PLP on the 1st of January 2015 when they introduced the dreaded VAT that reduced the duty on washers under 22 pounds. As the leader of the opposition told me 2 days ago, that it was the PLP that gave me that break, and I still voted against them. So please, everyone, take out of your mouth that I came to office to give myself a break on the duty on some kind of washer. I secretly think that the PLP made it duty-free so that everyone could go out and buy a washer and not have to go to Superwash.
Well, the Ministry of Works has allocated a budget of $120 million, but Minister of Works, the Honorable Desmond Bannister, says from that allocation, only $53 million will be left for new projects. DeAndre Williamson tells us more from the House of Assembly.
With an allocated budget of more than $100 million, the Ministry of Public Works is preparing to complete projects and begin some new ones this fiscal year.
In this budget, the Ministry of Public Works has been allocated a sum of $120,672,350. We will require a sum of $67,346,293.07 to complete ongoing projects such as the Smiths Point Seawall, the baseball stadium, the fishing hole causeway, and that leaves me at only $53,326,56.93 to begin new projects this fiscal year.
Minister of Public Works Desmond Bannister, in his contribution to the 2018-2019 budget communication debate, says new projects on the Family Islands will take several years to complete. They include a new government complex in Ragged Island, new airports, and new schools.
We expect to begin preliminary designs for the construction of an airport that, when completed, will be appropriate for the people of Long Island. Exuma needs enhanced airport facilities, and accordingly, we shall commence design works for a brand new airport or terminal in Exuma. The Deputy Prime Minister signed a loan today with respect to that. We are currently designing a school for Gregorytown. We are going to ensure that that community has an appropriate primary school, and Gregory having regard to the size of the community and the educational needs of the children.
In addition to the proposed plans, Bannister says he's excited about the Climate Resilience Coastal Management and Infrastructure Program that's being introduced in accordance to the IDB loan signed by the Deputy Prime Minister on Thursday for projects in Nassau, Grand Bahama, Long Island, and Andros.
And the planned work in the budget year includes in East Grand Bahama, design and construction works through the causeway and culvert, which will be $2,235,500. In New Providence, beach improvement at the Junkanoo Beach in New Providence, which will include the investigation and studies at $2 million.
For ZNS Network News, I'm DeAndre Williamson.
In his contribution to the 2018-2019 budget, Minister of Transport and Local Government, the Honorable Frankie Campbell, apologized for the inconveniences at the General Post Office and announced that government plans to implode the East Hill Street building once the office moves. Minister Campbell also announced that the post office is a step closer to moving into its multi-million-dollar facility on Gladstone Road at the site of the old Phil's Food Service building. Now, the new postal facility, he says, will feature automated counter services, expanded express mail services, and expanded postal parcel services.
The good news for the public and the postal staff is that the General Post Office is now in possession of the keys to its new premises situated on Gladstone Road, formerly the site of Phil's grocery store, following the recent compulsory acquisition of that property by the government. Already, efforts are underway to transform the building into a modernized, expanded postal facility to the tune of in excess of $4 million.
Opposition Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Davis gave a critical review of the budget during his contribution in the communication. Mr. Davis says the budget is taking the country in the wrong direction and includes too many contradictions and inconsistencies. Mr. Davis explained that he cannot support the budget and believes the government's reasons for increasing value-added tax are unjustifiable, and the 12% increase can have an effect on the tourism industry.
The increased VAT will result in increased hotel operational costs, driving up room rates and prices of food and beverages. They call this kind of scenario deja vu, because I recall this same scene being played between 2007 and 2012 when excise taxes were introduced. And what happened then? Well, here we go again. It is interesting to note that the minister is postponing the effective date of the 12% increase for the tourism sector for a short period, I think until September of this year.
Well, from the lower chamber, we cross over now to the upper chamber. The legal sector will now be armed with a new piece of legislation to fight crime at another level. The Interception of Communications Bill has made its way through the Senate and is on the way to becoming law. The bill has gotten the support of both sides of the upper chamber. And as Betty Thompson-Moss tells us, it can have wide-reaching impact on the crime war.
The Interception of Communications Bill surfaced under the Progressive Liberal Party, but is now back as a key legal piece of legislation under the new government. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, the Honourable Carl Bethel, sought to point out the differences under both governments. The previous piece of legislation, he said, was too broad and could involve any situation.
It gave the police carte blanche, absolute freedom to spy on people based on the allegation of any crime, no matter how trivial the matter might have been. The fact that even infractions of the law which could only possibly have been dealt with by a magistrate, therefore by their nature being minor and sometimes trivial offenses, they could have been the subject of an application for an interception warrant because under the PLP bill, any offense is all that is needed. Any.
According to the Attorney General, this new piece of interception bill will deal with indictable offences which could range from acts of terrorism, proceeds of crime, murder, and also human trafficking.
What we've done is we've carved out what I call a bubble or zone of privacy. Only the most serious offenses that are indictable are going to be offenses in respect of which an interception warrant can be applied for. Not any offense.
The new piece of legislation, once dubbed as the Spy Bill, will also provide further protection for citizens.
No more will the police be able to go to a magistrate and get some warrant and go to the home of the then national chairman or anyone like him, Darren Cash, and say they have a search warrant that allowed them to confiscate his computer, home computer, iPad, him and his wife's cell phone, and for them to take them and subject those tools and equipments to some kind of search. Okay? A judge will stop it.
The Attorney General also made it clear that the Interception of Communications Bill is drafted to ensure that persons who use stolen information can also find themselves committing an offence. Betty Thompson-Moss, ZNS Network News.
The Interception of Communications Bill also got the support of Senate opposition members. Senator the Honourable Dr. Michael Darville pointed out that in opposition, the new government had an aggressive attack on the bill. However, he explains his party's support and the impact for the country.
The bill that we presented is pretty much similar to the bill that we're debating today, with the exception of a few amendments. They opposed it then, but we will take the higher road because we understand the importance of this bill and we will support it because it is necessary. We all agree that this bill gives the Ministry of National Security and the law enforcement agency a greater tool to fight against organized crime. We agree. With this 21st century digital platform to fight crime, the law enforcement agencies can now be one step ahead of the criminal enterprises who for years have taken advantage of the government's inability to act swiftly because of inadequate laws and the lack of modern technological tools.
While Dr. Darville supports the bill in principle, he strongly feels it will back in both chambers for further amendments. Meantime, the PLP senator says the interception of communications bill will only be as good as the manpower and financial resources put behind it.
Where's the funding in the budget lines for the support of this bill? Therefore, I recommend that the government put the necessary resources behind the full implementation, ensuring that all agencies involved understand the operational mechanism. They're taught on how to utilize these pieces of legislation, and all parties involved in its execution clearly understand their limitations in order to avoid potential violations on human rights.
Still ahead, testimony in the Frank Smith trial continued today. And the Minister of Education with words of advice to public high school graduates. We're just getting started here on the National Report on this Friday. We've got more news on the next side of the break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by the new Shell & Leder, designed for extra miles.
Are your monthly bills coming in on top of your holiday bills? It's time for a change. Bundle your bills into one low-rate loan with Commonwealth Bank. Move your high-rate loans and credit card balances from other banks to a low-rate consolidation loan at Commonwealth Bank. Less stress, less to pay, each and every month. Plus, the chance to win $5,000. So make a change. Get a consolidation loan at Commonwealth Bank and pay less.
Every day at KFC, our cooks begin with the freshest pieces of chicken, hand breading and seasoning before cooking to golden perfection, making chicken that's hot, fresh, and ready for you to grab and head to your favorite spot for a meal with friends and family. The secret to preparing the world's juiciest, tastiest chicken, bundled with a variety of delicious sides, is real cooks who love what they do. Taste the KFC difference. Fresh prepared, in-store daily. KFC Nassau, it's finger-licking good.
Take a dash of location, 2 scoops of service, 3 helpings of savings, mix well and serve. That's super value in quality supermarkets. Hunt's barbecue sauce is 18-ounce size, 2 for $3. Center cut pork chops, $2.69 per pound. Vitamalt tonic, case price, $23.76. 12-ounce size, 99 cents. Shoppers Value foam plates, 30 count, $1.39. Limes, 5 for $1. Carolina Pride ham, 10-ounce size, $2.99. Every week is special at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Looking for some wines or just having a real good time? Jimmy's Liquor Store is the best. Come put us to the test. It's Jimmy's. When you listen to your bohemian lyrics, it's Jimmy's. And you feel for your favorite spirits, it's Jimmy's. When you're showing you got your bohemian flair, it's Jimmy's. When you want that truly bohemian beer, it's Jimmy's.
If you're at Jimmy's on Shirley Street, ask for Bohemian Gal Jackie. Carmichael Road, please see Reggie. Queens Highway, Freeport, see Bunker, that's Clayton, or ask for Mistress Key.
Every island, every key. Keep in touch with everybody. It's BTC every day.
We are at the Golden Gates Assembly Church, where we are highlighting 120 of our nation's brightest and best. This is the Primary School Student of the Year Award.
I'm very grateful, dear ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, that we are giving honor to the most precious resource that we have in our country, our children.
We're so proud to be able to give this really deserving child $10,000 towards his education.
It is amazing. From whence we came. We started in 1997, not giving out any type of financial scholarship. Till tonight, we're giving over $180,000 in cash scholarships alone, and then $35,000 in prizes.
Mom, this kid was so excited when they were about to make the announcement. And I'm thinking, how excited were you?
Beyond, because they tricked me. I was like, when he got the finals, I was like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this.
I was watching you. At what point did you realize they were talking about you?
When they were saying
when they were talking about the clubs, and then I knew it was definitely me when they were starting to talk about water polo.
BTC says congratulations to this year's Primary School Student of the Year, 10-year-old Remington Minnis, and congratulations to all of our recipients. I'm Corbell Piper, and we'll see you next BTC Connection.
It's BTC every day. Every day, every day, every day, every day is a
This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
In news from the courts tonight, testimony continued in the Frank Smith bribery and extortion trial. A Public Hospitals Authority officer back on the witness stand. LaDon Davis has the details.
Defense attorney Keith Knight QC cross-examined Public Hospitals Authority legal advisor Leslie Isaacs, who testified for a second day in the Frank Smith bribery and extortion trial on Friday. As requested by the defense, Isaacs produced bundles of documents on the past and current membership of the Public Hospitals Authority's board and other supporting documents. A letter of appointment addressed to former chairman of the PHA, Frank Smith, revealed that Smith was appointed on July 25, 2012. The past board members were appointed on the 1st of July 2014, and the current board was appointed on July 1st, 2017 to the 30th of June 2020. During further cross-examination, Attorney Knight asked Isaacs if the board provides a resolution. Isaacs responded, "Not all the time it happens." Knight told the court that a $1.8 million contract was granted to Magic Touch for cleaning services to the critical care block of the Princess Margaret Hospital, and that the contract was approved by the Minister of Health, Dr. the Honorable Dwayne Sands, without the board having any knowledge of it. The QC stated that the PHA board was concerned about the appearance of impropriety. Attorney Knight also told the court that the board had a jurisdiction to award a contract of $250,000 and up to $500,000, and that it can only be signed off by the Minister of Health. He said in court that a letter of a resolution for a contract dated December 23, 2015 was addressed to the Magic Touch Cleaning Services Company. It is expected that PHA's legal advisor, Leslie Isaacs, a BTC engineer, and the Minister of Health, Dr. the Honorable Dwayne Sands, could take the stand when the trial resumes on September 3rd. LaDon Davis, ZNS Network News.
Minister of Works, the Honorable Desmond Bannister, explaining government's plan for Munnings Drive following a deadly accident when a woman collided with concrete barriers placed across the road, preventing the flow of traffic onto Gladstone Road yesterday. Minister Bannister described Thursday morning's accident as a tragedy and said work began yesterday to reinstall speed bumps that have been taken up several times following that tragedy. But he says notice was given of the closure after 3 associations and residents attended several meetings with the Ministry of Works engineers and voted unanimously to return the road to its original plan with a cul-de-sac.
I'm very, very sorry to see that a young lady lost her life. That's something that none of us would like to see. But the speed limit in that area is 25 miles an hour. And it's important for all of us to appreciate that we have to obey these speed limits. What we are going to do now to try to give people a lot more warning is to put some speed humps in the area to quieten traffic. I will tell you that Dr. Minnis, as the Member of Parliament for that area, put speed humps down many, many times in that area, only to have them taken up.
Mr. Bannister says the Ministry of Works is going through the tender process to create the cul-de-sac, but insists residents must be careful how they use the road.
And I can tell you that coming from the John F. Kennedy Drive, if you come on from the airport gateway, if you come on to Munnings Road, before you get to that area where it's blocked off, you have at least half a mile to a mile of clear vision ahead of you. We're going to do some other things to ensure that persons who try to speed along that road, that they themselves are safe. But this is a very sad lesson that we're learning about road safety.
The Ministry of Education hosted the Bahamas High School Diploma Commencement Ceremony for the Southern District of New Providence Secondary Schools. Crystal Darling was there.
The graduation for the Southern New Providence Secondary School District was held today at the Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium. Students from R.M. Bailey Government High School, C.V. Bethel, and Anatole Rogers were present. And as they embark on a new journey, Education Minister the Honorable Jeffrey Lloyd told them that a number of scholarships are available.
So young people who are sitting here this afternoon, look in the stands and find your parents. And shout out a great thank you, Mom and Dad. My dear graduates, for you there is no excuse, none. And let me prove it to you. Those of you who get 5 BGCSEs, English, Math, C, you're automatically qualified to the University of the Bahamas if you apply. For you graduates who apply and are interested in a full-time enrollment at the BTVI, Bahamas Technical Vocational Institute, your enrollment is free September.
And while the graduates were on the inside, a number of family members and friends were on the outside.
This is very humiliating. I traveled all the way from Grand Bahama today just to be here to see my daughter graduated today. Thank God I took a picture of her in the hot sun, walking, heading to go inside there to be told, you don't have an invitation. You cannot come inside.
Actually, I waited 12 years for this to support my little sister. She graduated at C.V. Bethel. I'm now understanding that there are 4 schools graduating in one section. I mean, like, look at how much disappointed family members out here. They can't even support their siblings and their daughters and, you know, their friends.
And while it was not so happy for that group, things were different for these parents.
I'm a proud mother. He made me proud. He got his diploma. He did well.
I mean, it's just getting started for him, so gave him a day or two to catch himself and he got to get back at it, you know. Yeah, so I feel real happy. I don't know how to describe it right now, but I'm very excited.
Hundreds of students graduate today, hoping to enter the job market or to pursue higher education. I'm Crystal Darling, ZNS Network News.
Some 50 participants, including divers from across the region, participated in an assessment exercise to test the Royal Bahamas Defense Force's capacity to respond to a security threat. During an exercise of the Tradewinds program at the Prince George Wharf this morning, teams participated in a scenario to help the Port Department conduct security sweeps in and out of the water to detect an explosive device. Lieutenant Ricardo Barry says this is a routine exercise.
Nationally, for the Bahamas, it assists us in how to better our security posture locally. Regionally, it also has a major impact in that it allows us as a region to get to collaborate with each other to identify regional threats and try and find the best method of mitigating those threats. We'll be looking at operating in 4 different domains. We're going to be looking at operating in the air, where we will be conducting air surveillance of the Bahamas, hoping to detect bad guys trying to enter our territory. We will be conducting maritime operations, which the Defense Force, you know, we have a lot of experience in, but it will help us to prune our skills.
Royal Canadian Navy diver Lieutenant Greg Richards provided further details on the land and sea exercise as well as the preparation.
We have 4 dive teams set up in Coral Harbor. Based on the task, they will determine how many teams will deploy to execute the task. For this, they determined it was 2 teams. So we give the team leads as much intel as we possibly can. So, you know, where they're going to go, what kind of suspicious 4 exercise vessels are coming in and out, anything they can to help them execute the dive and plan their dive. They'll deploy here. When they get here, they site the scene. We will discuss with them further intel that we know and allow them to come up with a plan, brief us on the plan, and make sure everything's safe and makes sense. And then after that, they enter the water and execute.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
I'm Belinda Payne, and this is your Royal Fidelity Weekly Market Wrap. The local market gained momentum this week as investors traded 196,460 shares, up from last week's volume of 26,292 shares. The star performer for the week was Commonwealth Brewery, trading 5,500 shares to close up 8.46% to $10.90 per share. The other advances were Doctors Hospital, up 6.25% to close at $1.70. Focal up for the week 5.85% to close at $3.44, and Finco up 0.32% to close at $6.32. The lead decliner for the week was Commonwealth Bank, trading 23,550 shares to close down 6.1% to $3.85 per share. The other decliners for the week were Cable Bahamas, which fell by 1.59% to $3.10 per share, and AML Foods, which fell 2.22% to $4.40 per share. Here's your well tip for the week. Just as you may be asked in an interview where you see yourself in 10 years, try to envision your finances the same way. Here are a few tips to help you along. Map out a budget. Start by tracking every cent you spend for 30 days. This will make you more mindful and reflective of your spending. It's not about sacrifice, it's about choice and awareness. Tracking and setting spending goals help you use money more efficiently, saving money you would have wasted otherwise. Live below your means. If you're struggling with bills or debt, chances are there's a disconnect between how much you earn and how much you spend. Draft a new budget that can resolve that disconnect. But here's the big trick. If you're trying to build wealth, aim to live below your means, not simply within them. And that might mean sacrificing a few luxuries, but it's a surefire way to maintain long-term financial health. Pay yourself first. It's easy to work all month, gather your paychecks, and pay the bills only to realize there's nothing left to save. That's why many financial experts suggest paying yourself first, a method of budgeting where saving is essentially your primary expense. You budget a set amount of your paycheck that'll go into a savings account each month and deposit those funds before paying your other wants and needs. Voila, savings problem solved. I'm Belinda Payne, and this has been your Royal Fidelity Weekly Market Recap.
Free, reliable, anytime, anywhere, and instant. That's the benefits of using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Pay bills, check account balances, transfer funds, and more. Enjoy the freedom of banking on your own terms. Why wait in line? Save time. Do your banking using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean to find out more.
Well, we're the Nutty Bavarian Bahamas. We specialize in glazed nuts, being cashews, almonds, pecans, and peanuts. Well, we're offering a 3-tier savings deal. It's 5% for the silver, 15% for the gold, and 25% for platinum members. You would call us at the number 698-2126, let us know what tier you're on, and then we'll work from there. So the discount will be applied to whatever you purchase from us. Normally the delivery time is within a day. You call your order in and then it's delivered the next day. But we wanted to align ourselves with a company that is as innovative as Alive. You know, they're a young upstart company, and we just felt that we would want to be on board with a company that's doing big things in the Bahamas.
Where can you find amazing selections of tiles from around the world? Exquisite medallions, pool mosaics, all colorful, bright and bold. They got granite countertop for the kitchen, elegant vanity zincs for the bathroom, tile care and ruby too. Everything you need and more at the Tile King. The Tile King, located 69 Wolf Road. For more information, call 326-TILE or 326-5464.
If you own a portfolio of securities within a brokerage account, like stocks, bonds, or mutual funds, you can access a hassle-free loan, known as a margin loan, based on the value of that portfolio. Your investment portfolio is essentially used as collateral for a cash loan. And the benefits are numerous. Simple and straightforward application, quick turnaround, a more competitive interest rate, no requirement for monthly payments. Contact us for more information on margin loans.
This week, Electro Telecom Limited donated laptops to students of 49 schools here in New Providence, Apico, and Eleuthera. Each school selected a top student or a student who has made major improvements this academic year. The computers were presented to the students at the Police Conference Center from representatives of the police force and the Ministries of Education and National Security. Electro Telecom CEO Paul Smith says that this annual donation is important in helping this generation of students.
The day is revolving. Technology is just about everything. And without technology, it's like it's without a notebook. And so these computers, I think, would help these kids in order to meet the demands further ahead in their life. And so I feel like by continuing this donation with computers is really only bettering the children as they proceed further in school to their academic goals.
A few of the students receiving the computers say they hope to use them for future school projects and for a little fun.
I might use it to do my work when I go in grade 7.
I'm not quite sure, but probably just to do projects on and maybe mess around with a little bit.
It felt great to get the laptop, and I'm probably going to use this for playing video games.
Congratulations to those students. Gift well deserved. Family Island weather and sports is up next. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report.
Every day you wake up with the world in the palm of your hand. Making connections and creating memories and sharing them with the people you care about. Every day, the world is at your fingertips, and you can experience every blockbuster movie in stunning HD and top 100 Billboard music hit with the touch of a button. Every day, your family and friends are important to you, and staying in touch no matter where you are in the Bahamas or the world is your #1 priority. And that's why, every day for over 100 years, BTC has been there to ensure that every Bahamian has the best connection to the world. We cover every island, rock, and key, regardless of the cost. This is BTC Country.
Free, reliable, anytime, anywhere, and instant. That's the benefits of using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Pay bills, check account balances, transfer funds, and more. Enjoy the freedom of banking on your own terms. Why wait in line? Save time. Do your banking using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean to find out more.
The performance speaks for itself. Pennzoil Synthetics, made from natural gas. Make the switch.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward Tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
It's time now for a check on the weather in your part of the Bahamas, and Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean joins us live in studio with the latest temperatures. Good evening and happy Basil Friday. We're all looking forward to the weekend.
Well, thank you, Alto. And right now we're going to jump right in it and take a look at temperatures around the Family Violence. And they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 84 degrees in Freeport, also Greentoll, Key, Marshall, Barbacoa at 86 degrees. The Berry Islands 82 in Bimini. Here in the capital, 84 Harbor Island, Eleuthera 81, Rock Sound, Eleuthera 82, 81 in Otterstown, Cadalum. Staniel Key in the Exuma chain at 83, a couple more 83s in Kemps Bay, St. Andrews, also Fresh Creek in Central Andros. San Salvador, Rum Key at 81, Georgetown, Exuma, 80 degrees, 82 in Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Mayagona, Acklands, and Ryegate Island. Matutani, Nagua, they have 84 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 81. Your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the Northwest and Central Islands, light and variable winds can be expected. Flat seas, 1 to 3 feet. High tide takes place later on at 9:09. For the Southeast Bahamas, the wind southeast at 12 to 18 knots. Wave heights 3 to 6 feet with a moderate chop. And then tomorrow, Saturday, light and variable winds once again in the Northwest and Central Islands. High tide 9:34 in the morning, low tide 3:41 in the afternoon. For the Southeast Bahamas, those winds will come down 10 to 15 knots out of the east. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet. And then we take you into Sunday, light and variable winds once again in the Northwest and Central Islands. Wave heights 1 to 3 feet with your high tide taking place at 10:32 in the morning, low tide at 4:39 in the afternoon. For the Southeast Bahamas, easterly flow 10 to 15 and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It is time now for your travel forecast. And your travel forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Shore. Do it for your travel forecast, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is coming up in about 20 minutes.
Welcome to Tips for Wellness. I'm Dr. Indira Grimes. Lupus is a chronic inflammatory disease that occurs when your body's immune system attacks your own tissues and organs. Inflammation caused by lupus can affect many different body systems, including your joints, skin, kidneys, blood cells, brain, heart, and lungs. Lupus can be difficult to diagnose because its signs and symptoms often mimic those of other ailments. The most distinctive sign of lupus is a facial rash that resembles the wings of a butterfly unfolding across both cheeks, and occurs in many but not all cases of lupus. Other signs or symptoms include skin lesions that appear or worsen with sun exposure, hair loss, fingers and toes that turn white or blue when exposed to cold or during stressful periods, otherwise known as Raynaud's phenomenon, shortness of breath, chest pain, dry eyes, headaches, confusion, memory loss. Some people are born with a tendency towards developing lupus, which may be triggered by infections, certain drugs, or even sunlight. There is no cure for lupus, but there are treatments that can help to manage the symptoms. This has been Tips for Wellness. I'm Dr. Indira Grimes. Live your best life by living well.
Life happens, and when it does, FG Insurance Agents and Brokers is here. We help you protect the assets you've worked hard to attain. We offer home, auto, marine, commercial, and liability insurance. Don't hesitate to protect what matters with FG Insurance agents and brokers. Visit us and speak to your agent today. Or call us at 396-1490 in Nassau or 688-1500 in Freeport.
Whether you want to get going in a new car, to relax at home while you pay bills on your mobile banking app, to get the best rewards with your credit card, or to get a sure start on your little one's future. Whether you want a quick response on your loan, or just a range of services that keep your business running smoothly, you want banking that fits your life. CIBC First Caribbean, banking that fits your life.
What's a smart way to refresh your home this season? Get inspired by Carpet and Cabinet World. See how easy it is to transform your living room and kitchen with our wide variety of flooring and cabinet options. We offer top quality in the latest styles in ceramic, porcelain, and wood. Did you know we're also fully stocked with state-of-the-art forward horizontal blinds? Stop by Cabinet World to explore the exciting possibilities with our customized cabinetry to suit your budget, style, and taste. Carpet and Cabinet World. We make it happen. Get your free quote today.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. Our ladies' national basketball team all settled in Suriname, going through final practices as they prepare to hit the court for the FIBA Women's Caribbean Cup. The Bahamas has been placed in Group A with Cuba, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the host. In Group B, the Dominican Republic, Barbados, and Guyana. The Bahamas tips off play Sunday against Cuba. The first and second place teams from each group advance to the semifinals. The top two teams qualify for the FIBA America Cup 2021 qualifiers that they begin in September. Our women's national volleyball team getting ready for the Caribbean Championships in Suriname. They will be looking to improve on their sixth place finish from the last edition.
We've had a really short time to prepare, but I think going forward, we will do great. We haven't had much time to get a chemistry or whatever, but we'll be okay. All we gotta do is stick together and stick to the game plan. I think the strength of this team is our defense. However, I think our weakness is going to be our chemistry. Like I said, we haven't had much time to play together as a team, but hopefully it comes together once we get there in Suriname. Our biggest rivalry, I would say, is Trinidad. We always have a game plan against them, so hopefully this time around it works. They are the #1 team in the Caribbean. This time around, we hope to place at least third. That is our goal, and moving forward, you know, we hope to come first, actually.
Our men's national volleyball team also getting ready for the Caribbean Championships in Suriname, and so far, practice sessions have been up and down.
I don't want them come back, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Oh, we coulda do this, we coulda do that. Because we have all the keys and the puzzles right here. It's just a matter of working out.
Practice could be ramped up a little bit, but I mean, in general, we've been practicing for the senior men and along with the under-23 boys, so you know, it's a bit of a learning curve there, you know, just in terms of maybe the skill level between the under-23 and the senior men. So I would say that that's probably a reason why practice might not have had the level of intensity, but I mean, you see it in spurts, which has been awesome. You see the potential that the team has, not only for the current, but move forward, which is pretty awesome because in the past, it seemed as though we might not have had as good of a future as we had, you know, maybe planned on having. So now coming back, and maybe even though we've had a few down practices, I think we'll be fine moving forward.
It's ample time. The problem is practice facilities. You know, to use the Candle Isaacs, it costs us XYZ dollars per night. Then D.W. Davis is another venue. They have exams. So long as we could get the training facilities, we should be okay.
Byron Ferguson is one of the professional players on our men's national volleyball team. He spoke about the transition from playing overseas to coming home and representing the country.
This year coming up will be my 8th year overseas, and it's difficult because, you know, the organization isn't the same, the level of play isn't the same, but that's where I have to step up and try to get the other guys at that level, and our practices will be better too.
And being a professional player, Ferguson also spoke about how it went for him this past season.
We lost in the first round of playoffs, but I played in the final of the Greek Cup this year, so this has been my second final. I played in the final when I was in Greece 2 years ago as well. It was a successful season for me. I was able to stay healthy, and I'm looking forward to next year.
Like Ferguson, Rajal Moxie is also playing overseas. He just finished up his eligibility at the University of Charleston.
I'm the type of player that I play with heart, but more than that, I play to win all of the time. And so I don't really care who's playing on the next side of the court, whether it's an elementary team, whether it's a Division I team. So moving from independent to Division I didn't really have a problem with it. The good thing about it, though, is that when you start playing Division I, you play top-tier teams all the time. So our conference consisted of Penn State, George Mason, Harvard, Princeton. I can name a few others. But it was a great opportunity in my career. I had several injuries throughout my career. Unfortunately, I had an injury that ended my season early this year, but I thought it was pretty good. I was captain of the team for the 4 years that I was there, and I thought we did pretty well.
The Bahamas Baseball Association's Andre Rogers Jr. Nationals all set for next week in Grand Bahama. The Bahamas Olympic Committee fully on board.
Hundreds of young, talented young men will be given an opportunity to participate in the sport of baseball. The opportunities that exist in baseball is just phenomenal. Be it professional ranks, be it college, be it high school, we welcome those opportunities for the exposure of our youth, particularly our young men. And so I just want, on behalf of the Bahamas Olympic Committee, to thank the Bahamas Baseball Association for inviting us to be a part of this magnificent event, and to really thank the executive for the hard work and the dedication they place in baseball in leading the youth in our country.
Kerry Cartwright has been playing well on the pro tennis circuit so far this year, despite funding issues. But while addressing a reception for our Davis Cup team, Secretary of the Bahamas Olympic Committee, Deron Donaldson, said that may soon be a thing of the past for Kerry and others.
Everyone wants emphasis on their particular area, male or female. However, we're doing our very best to work with all the federations, including the BLTA. The BLTA have submitted female names and male names for Olympic Solidarity funding. It's similar to like a subvention, but it's funded by the IOC through us, the NOC. And so, yeah, Kerry was one of the names submitted by the BLTA, and hopefully she's been doing really well out there on the tour, playing doubles and being successful, and I think even winning a tournament, and also doing well in her singles as well. So it looks favorable for her to get, probably the funding, and hopefully this can help her out. And we would love for this to have tennis back in the Olympics. And if we have to start now with female being in the Olympics, then we're good with that. But we want the sport back in the Olympic light.
And that will do it for sports. Stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight comes back after the break.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
You thought it was the talk of the town, but get ready for more.
More energy, more excitement, exhilarating, compelling, informative, educational talk on The Conversation.
I'm Shanique Miller. Pull up a chair with a cup of tea and join me weekdays at 4 on Radio Bahamas 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, and The Light 810 AM for The Conversation. I'm excited to have you around the table.
ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Watch our live channel to keep up with what's going on in the nation. News updates, we've got you covered. Tune into our radio stations with just a swipe. On the road, on the go, we're here with you. Available for download on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
What amazing idea to go into the communities and into our world and into our country and into the homes of people and into the lives of outstanding and extraordinary people all over the country. I think that telling those stories again helps us to connect to the notion of okay, how can I live a better life? How can I be better? This is how this person achieved it. Where can I find common ground so that my life can match up as well? And so Ordinary People is an amazing, amazing concept, and I'm excited to be a part of the Ordinary People family.
The Wake Up Bahamas show is back with more excitement from the Family Islands. We brought you Exuma with all of its beauty and amazing experiences. Now, Wake Up Bahamas is taking you to the Big Yard. Join us live from North Andros, June 27th through 29th, as we bring you the best the Big Yard has to offer. From crabs to bonefish, ecotourism to agriculture, bush medicine to blue holes, and a whole lot more. Don't miss the Wake Up Bahamas show, June 27th through 29th, live at 7 a.m. right here on the ZNS Network.
What you see and hear on this television station is governed by IRCA's Code of Practice for Content Regulation. The Code of Practice covers matters relating to program content that are of concern to the community, such as local content, news, current affairs, programs for children, advertising, including political advertisements, and the responsibilities associated with broadcasting in the Bahamas. The Code also covers aspects such as access services for the hearing and visually impaired, and the procedure for lodging a complaint about anything broadcast by this station. The code is available on the IRCA website at www.ircabahamas.bs. To receive a copy of the code by mail or in person, you may telephone IRCA at 242-393-0234. Family Island dialing is toll-free at 1-242-300-8722. Or you may send a request by email to info@ircabahamas.bs.
Now you can watch the ZNS network of channels absolutely free. That's right, ZNS is now broadcasting 3 separate channels, free to air on Channel 13. One channel has the regular ZNS TV HD programming. One is the Parliamentary channel, and one is the 24/7 television community page. These channels may be accessed simply by attaching either a rabbit ears antenna or an indoor amplified antenna to the RF input connector on the back of your digital television or flat screen TV. Once the antenna is connected, select TV mode and choose Auto Scan, and your TV will automatically pick up Channel 13 at no charge. Once you're on Channel 13, just use the channel selector to go to each of the 3 ZNS free channels. Antennas are available on many sites online. Free TV, ZNS brings it back to you.
The Saffir-Simpson Hurricane Wind Scale was developed in 1971 by civil engineer Herbert Saffir and meteorologist Robert Simpson, who was the director of the U.S. National Hurricane Center. It was introduced to the public in 1973 and began to be widely used a year later. Inspired by the Richter scale that measures earthquakes, the Saffir-Simpson scale was divided into 5 categories. Originally, the Saffir-Simpson scale also included predicted barometric pressures associated with the various wind speeds, as well as the relative kinds of damage that could be anticipated. However, because those predictions were found to be very inaccurate, just a few years ago the warning system was changed to include only the wind speeds, which were also adjusted upwards in the higher categories. A Category 1 hurricane has wind speeds between 74 and 95 miles per hour. A Category 2, 96 to 110 miles per hour. A Cat 3, 111 to 129 miles per hour. A Cat 4, 130 to 156 miles per hour, and a Category 5 hurricane will have winds from 157 miles per hour and up. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Agency.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we still have this broad area of showers and thunderstorms near the Yucatan Peninsula. We expect that to move northward and should bring some showers and thunderstorms to the Gulf Coast states of the United States by Sunday. Over the Bahamas, high pressure has collapsed. We're under the influence of very, very light wind, and with the warm temperatures, we can anticipate 1 or 2 little pop-up showers. But other than that, a fairly nice weekend shaping up for you. Tonight, partly cloudy and humid and isolated showers. Still possible, low temperature getting down to 77 degrees. And tomorrow, we're looking at periods of clouds and sunshine again. In the morning, we can have 1 or 2 of those showers, but by afternoon, things should start to improve, and that should head into Sunday, where the rainfall should start falling off quite sharply. High temperature tomorrow, 86 degrees, extended weather forecast through the weekend. As you can see, Saturday, isolated showers in the morning. Father's Day Sunday, lots of sunshine for you, and that will continue right into the middle part of next week. So that dry weather is starting to filter in, and those African dust is also getting in our way, so you can also experience some hazy conditions over the weekend.
I was so glad to see where I said Happy Basil Friday, and it's getting teased, so it's Happy Friday Basil.
It's perfectly okay with you.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Before we end, we want to say congratulations to Karen Miller Jr. for graduating from the PTL Preschool in Freeport Grand Bahama. Job well done.
And also, my 20th high school reunion is this weekend, and also the QC class of 2018.
Wow.
They are graduating tonight, so plenty of comments going around Basel tonight.
Well, talking about the QC class of 2018, the QC class of 74 is meeting this afternoon right after the newscast, and my grandson, Jamal Carter Dane, graduated today from kindergarten school.
Wonderful news, wonderful news. Congratulations to all the graduates across the country. Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight. On behalf of all of us, have a great evening, everyone.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.